All right, perfect. All right, we are live again. I am so honored to be connecting to each or with each and every one of you as we get to connect to our Aries Galactic Energy Report for this star report for this month. There's so much energy packed into it. I'm really looking forward to just diving in. There's just so much to it. I'm just getting everything all set up here. And I'm just going to invite everybody just to let you know I just got the chat all put up. So if you're here, Nikima, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. So grateful, so thankful to have you here. And as you log in live, if you want to just type in the chat just to say hello, this is a great time for the community to be connected within this time. I'm going to stop this share and just say hello for a minute. Let's do that to get it started. So as you all know, the huge buzz for the Aries season is the solar eclipse. It's the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, the full solar eclipse that's happening. We are going to touch upon that today. There is a lot of energy that is around that, but we want to look at some of the other things. So one of the things that I like to do with our energy report, a galactic report, is to infuse some other perspectives within there. There are a lot of other astrology sites that you can tap into to see kind of some of that vibrational energy that is coming. So within this, I like to add a little bit more of the gene keys, the human design, and even the starseed perspective so that you can add a little bit of a different dynamic to this energy. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. There's a lot for us to talk about. I'm just going to be so grateful. Hello, Darlene. Welcome, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. We are anchoring space yet again on the road and absolutely loving this. We have a beautiful vibration for our Aries Galactic Energy Report today. In the beautiful state of Utah, we're up a little bit northern now, just past Ogden. So we're making our way a little bit closer to Idaho today. And as we're making our way this way, I know I do have a screen behind, but the energy around, we are in this beautiful field of nature. And there's these beautiful marshes of birds everywhere. It's like a bird sanctuary. So there's just the vibrant life, energy, birthing, all of the vibration of nature is all around. And this could not be more perfect for our Aries energy report today as we get into all of the beautiful details. So with that, let's go ahead and just dive in and get started. So within this, as we get to look at Aries, we're going to see that Aries has a beautiful vibration for us to really attune to that is about self-initiation and the path of self. So this is going to be really our theme, even though, sure, we do. Every year we get to have this moment of being within the energy of Aries. But at this particular time, galactically, we have such an incredible vibration going that is allowing us to realize that there's a massive awakening in consciousness right now. We have massive solar rays, vibrations, initiation energy coming into us that no matter what sign, Aries is really just adding another fire energy to it. But as we continue through the rest of this year, this is going to continue to build, expand, and grow. There is a huge vibration right now, not only of initiation, expansion, spiritual maturity. Which bifurcation path are you choosing? So let me explain what that is. When we think about bifurcation or timeline paths, that every single decision we make will therefore provide other paths, other options, other opportunities. So it means that every choice we make, moment by moment by moment, is therefore continuously morphing, changing, and aligning what our future potential possibilities are, right? So when we really look at this escalation of energy that is coming through the Yuga cycles of expansion, the galactic energy, our guardian planetary stargate awakenings that is coming through this vibration of solar energies, really activating our DNA within us, we are realizing that more than ever, we're starting to get a bit more maturity with how we talk, how we act, what we do, and how important that is, more so than before. Realizing that the idea or the concept of karma or cause and effect is having such a faster whiplash or vibrational bring back into our field faster and faster. I think we've talked about this a few times where, there has been some scenarios where I have thought something, or my beloved partner and I have been talking about something, and like literally within less than 15 minutes it shows up in our path. That happened again today with the most random things. But this is a really simple way for us to see that the feedback loop of karma, or the feedback loop of cause and effect, is massively accelerated. So maybe 10 years ago, the cause and effect and the karma might have taken years or decades to come back in. But we know through universal law and divine law, no matter what it is we put into the field in the template of creation, whether it comes back in this lifetime or another lifetime, it doesn't matter. It will come back to us. But right now, it's coming back so fast. So what is the self-initiation in the path of self? This is really us starting to recognize what is the bifurcation path or the timeline path that we are choosing. Are we choosing to stay within the lower vibrations, to just put ourselves back to sleep, to just go back into a vibration of, whatever, it seems cool, but that's not for me as far as the spiritualized path or awakening to seeing beyond the veil or the bigger picture of things that are going on. But for those of you, again, that are interested in conversations like this, we know that that's not the case. And so within this puts a lot more responsibility on our plate. Aries is going to allow us to embrace that responsibility. That truly all initiation is self-initiation. That a guide, a teacher, a master, someone who is guiding you and guarding you through a path can only do so much as far as sharing the wisdom. It is always self-initiation. We are the ones that have to take the initiative to do the work, to carve the path, to have the passion, the fire, and the desire within us to want it so bad and to want it enough that we will move past simple desires, pleasures, the things that are habits, in order for us to do that which is more challenging. This is what Aries gives us. It gives us that fire to have that initiative to sometimes face head on the things that might make us be a little bit lazy or complacent, or go along with things a little bit more rather than stand up and do the harder work to maybe make the change we do want in our life or on this planet. So as we get to look at this, just one pause, I wanted to say so much love to Melis, and so much love. Amanda, so happy to have you here. Beautiful. So much love. So much love. Oh, beautiful. Aries on the 21st. I would be curious if you are a reflector. I actually know a couple reflectors that are born around that same time. How beautiful. So let's talk about what is this path. I wanted to show this through the Trinity path of the 12 signs in the astrological wheel. When we look at the fire signs within the astrological wheel, we have the signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. These are corresponding to the for Aries first house Mars energy. But one of the big buzzwords of this year, 2024, also 2023, but 2023, 2024 was Pluto, right? The big deal about Pluto moving in from Capricorn into Aquarius and this whole new transformation of energy. Well, Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. So whereas Pluto holds the passion and the desire, the ultimate magnetic drive of our soul, Mars is the physical manifestation of that action, that passion, that desire, that movement, and that energy to put our soul's path in action. But guess what? It's first house energy. So it has a directive of who am I? Who do I want the world to see me as? What do I choose to be known as? Right? So as we get to look at this vibration, our Mars has the opportunity to either be in service to the ego, lower vibration. Let's just say it flat out, a little bit more of the narcissistic path, maybe more of the early developmental path of the ego. We know that it is inherently natural for a human being to have narcissistic stages, and they are healthy, but healthy narcissistic stages within our development. You know, they I'm just putting it out there because they do kind of verbalize it in this way, that during certain stages, such as our toddler years, and then again around our preteen to teen years, these are developmental times within our life where we are starting to question, who am I? And how do I express myself into the world? So there's a sense in there, it's called more innocent kind of self perspective and energy. But I wanted to be playful with it, with the narcissistic word in there, because it is also such a buzzword that I think we need to start clearing and dissolving and deleting. So within this, as we get to understand this, we're going to start to realize, is your directive, your path, who you are creating your image and who you choose to be. Are you still trying to fit into the world around you? Are you still trying to be seen as someone important or special to others? Or are you in an initiatory path where you are ready to be your highest realized potential? Are you willing and ready to allow your Mars to be in service to your higher self as an energy conduit for creating this new path cutting, way shower energy upon the earth through your mission? So as we get to understand this, this is really our initial development, the initial path of the self-initiation. Because as we move through the progression of the wheel, and as we start to get into later in the year, the energy of Leo, we'll tap back into this energy slightly again through the fifth house energy, which is correspondent to the sun. Our sun is our destiny, our superhero cape. Who did we come here to be? It's not who we are as a soul, but it's the cape we came to put on into how do we want to express our starfire, our solar eminence, and our vibration and our rays of light of who we came here to be. It is how we came to be on the center stage of this life and show up as our true self. No limitations, no limiting beliefs. And then beyond that, once we start to really take this path of self and to let ourselves shine out loud on the stage of life, we then become the energy of that teacher, that sage, that wise being, that way shower of knowledge, because Sagittarius ninth house energy connected to Jupiter is now the path back to spirit. Jupiter and this ninth house energy is about us starting to question, who am I in relation to the universe, to the all? Who is source? Who is God? And what am I within that connection? And starting that Sagittarius energy starts to blend us back into the whole oneness again of recognizing we are individuals that are still part of the unity field of consciousness of the all. So you can see Aries is really important for us to look at right now, because as we get into this, I wanted to set this foundation, because Aries right now is giving us all an opportunity to really look at where is Pluto influencing you in your chart. So you're going to want to look at where is basically look for 0 degrees, 1 degrees, and up to 2 degrees of Aquarius in your chart. Where is Aquarius in your chart? What house is it in? This is where Pluto is calling you out, taking away all the blankets, all the veils, anything you're hiding behind, and making you face it straight on. What house is that playing out for you in right now? Now, as you look at that, we're going to see that Aries, and where primarily Pisces, Aries and Tauruses on the chart is going to be the concentrated energy where you're going to be asked to start playing that out, developing it within yourself. And so again, you're going to need to look at your own astrological wheel. Where is Pisces? Where is Aries? Where is Taurus? And so if you have your chart while you're going through this report, please look that up because this is going to be key for you. So now as we understand this, the path of fire within the 3 fire signs of the astrological wheel are going to be these massive initiators for leading into the individuated state. It is the vibration of coming into separation and our path, again, finding God's source, but primarily through our spirit, okay, through our energy, our essence, and through the path that we carve as we make our journey back home. So now as we get to continue on, just saying so much love. Hello, Travis. So happy to have you here. Let's move into this. Let's look at Aries from a little bit of a different perspective here. I did color in blue on this chart the places where you're going to see where the gates of Aries do play out. We are now in the gate 25. 25, I probably is one of the gates I talk about so much because it is such an important energy for how we actualize divine love within ourselves. And it is that threshold gate. So it's the gate that holds that threshold between the ending of the 12th house of energy of Pisces and the first house energy of Aries. So it is the closing of one door, the opening of another. Aries is the flame bearer for new paths and the light of life itself. This is the dim point of light found at the center of the cycle of manifestation, faint and flickering. It is the searchlight of the logos, seeking that which can be used for divine expression. I love that. This is from Soul-Centered Astrology, Alan Oken. His book, I love that book. If any of you are inspired to have another great astrology book for your library, Alan Oken, Oken. It's Astrology for the Soul, Soul-Centered Astrology. It is such a fantastic book that really looks at it from the esoteric point of view. And we're going to see that 25 starts us out in our magnetic monopole of our heart. But Aries really very quickly then moves into gate 17. 17, which is in the Ajna center, which is really the mind. So in the 17, we're going to look at this and we're going to talk a bit about it because this is where our lunar eclipse is going to happen. It's going to happen in the polarity of Libra in the gate 18. The gate 18, just for me to circle this for you, is in the splenic center. But what this is it's the gate, the 17 and the 18 are some of the more challenging companions or polarities in our human design, because they really have a vibration of being very opinionated, really seeing that which is not right, always finding that which needs to be corrected or fixed, kind of nitpicking kind of energy, judgment kind of energy at the shadow level within it. So we're going to really see this. How is this going to be playing out with our lunar eclipse? So as we know, this Aries starts out in the heart as Pisces hands it off. It hands it off from the heart. And then Aries quickly goes into the ajna, the mind, to start to create formalization, opinions. Who am I? Then it quickly moves in to the heart center, but this is the heart and the will center with the gate 51 and the gate 21. These two are about manifesting in the material realm. This is powerful, you guys, because the big theme that we've been talking about lately is starting to really focus on abundance, but abundance from a point of view that really has you challenged to do the work to clear out all the limiting beliefs about how you have ever been programmed about money, abundance, health, acceptance, success, all of these types of things. From here, it then is getting ready to hand energy off to Taurus. And as it gets ready to start handing the energy off to Taurus, it starts to move into the sacral center, because Taurus is a very Venusian energy, womb energy, feminine energy. So it's getting ready to start to move in to the sacral center, the womb, with the gate 42 of beginnings and endings, and then the gate 3 of mutation, of creation, of manifestation. So we're going to talk about this. And we have some very powerful star nations that are really going to be guiding us and assisting us at this time. So as we get to continue on with this, Aries, fire, Mars, first house energy, we're seeing that as we are just about a day away. Now I have it here is March 19th. You're going to see a couple dates on here depending where you're watching this in the world. You really do need to get your exact times, because a lot of the dates that I have, I like to pull them up from Pacific Standard Time, so West Coast of the United States. But a lot of the charts, it's easier to pull them up in the universal time. So that is going to be European time. So that is going to be about 8 hours, I think, ahead. So therefore, it does change some of these. Sometimes we're going to see Pacific Standard Time, spring equinox starts on the 19th, whereas in Europe it starts early morning, more on the 20th. So you just need to check your time. But spring equinox, this is what Aries also brings. The passion, the fire, desire is a birthing process. Think about the cauldron, the energy, all of the vibration of what winter was, and going inward. And now Aries is starting to bring that fire, the friction, that energy to challenge that which has been burying us or binding us in order for us to come through brand new again. Here are some of the Aries keywords. These are keywords from evolutionary astrology from Jeffrey Wolf Green. These are amazing because as we look at them, we're going to see, and this is again why I was playing a little bit with the word narcissism earlier, because you can see it's one of the shadow energies of Aries. Why? Because we're learning to develop who am I, a focus of self, self-interest, the warrior, the pioneer. It has energies of being primal, the loner, self, violence, war. There's all of these aggressive energies, challenging energies. Think of Mars as a very quick, reactive energy to it. It has the expression of the will. But on other energies within it, it's about our desires of our nature, creating our identity, freedom, independence. It has the ability for us to step into our sexual instincts, really tap into that cauldron of our kundalini and our fire, our special destiny, really working with these beautiful energies. And again, we know that all 12 signs of the zodiac are all ways in which we are given a template of which we can express our energy. How we express it is up to us. Are we going to align more to the polarity of service to self, or are we in that spiritualized path of wanting to be service to others? From the source perspective, there is no judgment, because source is identifying with self in either path. It is just our own journey as a soul spark and as an individuated spark when we're done playing the loner game, separate game, when we're ready to start to feel the ultimate bliss of being connected to the all again. So spring equinox is a really beautiful time that allows us to start to feel birth, renewal, energy, that allows us to connect to a vibration that starts to tune us into that vibration of what is source. Where do we come from? The miracle of birth, the miracle of life, the miracle of nature blossoming and blooming. So that is really, really special for us to do. Aries souls, many of the Aries souls that I love so dearly, have connected with and done chart readings for and known throughout my life. Just amazing, just go-getters, tenacity, many so connected to nature, so connected to an ultimate sensitivity, and really a beautiful ability to really not care a lot of times about what other people think. And so when you are truly embracing the greatest aspect of yourself as an Aries, if you are an Aries sun sign, right? Um, if you are a Libra sun sign with your polarity or your Earth in Aries, where you are meant to ground and be as much an Aries as you are a Libra, or for those that have very significant placements in Aries, such as many of the generation right now that is in maybe the earlier to mid 40s into the later 40s into about the age of 50, you're going to have to look. I think I brought this up before as far as the Chiron return time that is coming up for so many on the planet. This Chiron return, super, super special. And it's, you'll just have to see there's a huge generation that has the Chiron in Aries. And if your Chiron is in Aries, this is going to be a massive, massive time for you. So really you want to look at particular planetary placements, especially ones that are significantly influential, such as nodes, AC, your MC, whether it is something like your Chiron, something like this. Please check into this because this is going to be important. You're going to see as we get into some of the next slides. So I just very quickly want to touch into this because I want to touch into a little bit about the constellation of Cetus and some of the vibrations we're going to see from the star nations. So as we get to look at this, just first, I just want to say so much love, Laura. Thank you so much for being here. Your mama is a 4-4. Ah, I love it. How beautiful. Hello, Elizabeth. Love you so much. I'm so happy to have you here and so happy to be sharing this today. Oh, you guys, this is amazing. Just gonna take a deep breath because I get really excited because there's just so much. 25 again, we're in the middle of it. Okay. It starts around March 18th, so it's the very beginning energy. It has a slight influence of Pisces in it as Pisces hands it off to Aries. Now, when we understand again the gate 25 is about the direction of universal love and innocence and is about the energy of innocence within ourself, of being influenced by source, about full acceptance and love that is unconditional. And that when you surrender to love, you will find the spirit innocence is always within you. It is always within you. And that when you really become attuned to it, you will realize that the spiritual innocence of just a sense of knowing, trusting, and being one with this divine connection is actually the foundation for being a spiritual warrior. It's just so amazing. So it's really about this energy of connecting to this universal and divine love. Now, as we get to understand this, we're going to talk a little bit about the constellation of Cetus. We have a few different connections within there. There's Difta, there's Tau Ceti that we're going to be connecting with, Bat and Katos. So as we get to look at some of these within here, I'm going to tell it from a little bit of a different perspective. And I'm going to share this a little bit from a perspective of a body of work called Stellar Nations. And this is something that was presented to me by one of you. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. I have dove into it a little bit. It is a huge body of work, but I did support their work and dive into it. And there's a lot of beauty in it because it really talks about the vibration more from a cosmic perspective of how we emanate through source light. And there were certain things within it that I was just like, man, this is so perfect for how we're looking at this energy. Within the energy of Cetus, they're really talking about a vibration of a connection from Pegasus, which was highly connected to the Pisces connection. So Pegasus was kind of leading some of the energy, and we still have a little bit in Aries. But as we look at the star nation of Pegasus and this angelic energy that is really quite a spiritual messenger energy, it moves us into Cetus, and Cetus is referred to as the whale. And the perspective of this is very interesting because it's a little bit kind of like the story of Jonah, or it makes me think of Pinocchio a little bit, in the sense of when we are an incarnate spark from the source, if we were to get led off track to become what we might even consider a fallen angelic, that there is a vibration within the energy of Cetus that allows us to basically, it basically pulls us into its field And in some ways, it would seem almost like a constraint. And it's interesting that the energy of the gate 25 of the shadow is constriction, right? But that this constraint or this prison or this place would be the place where a fallen angelic who is maybe now gotten to the place where they are wanting to start to reform, to move into a new path, that within this place and some of these Cetus connections within here, this perception would then lead to the ability to basically kind of the light to be frozen, almost like being turned back into rock again in order to become manifest as a new path, as a new way to start to implement on a whole new mission, if you will, how to start to enact God source teachings, God source alignments again. So let's kind of look at this through this vibration, because when we start to look at what star nations we have, again, Deneb Katos is going to be pretty much currently right now within alignment for us, as well as the Pegasus star system of Al-Janib within there. This Al-Janib energy, again, is a really huge vibration of a guardian messenger energy, almost like these guides. Cetus really shows us where we can start to embrace the freedom from the prison that our soul may have enacted within. And we want to understand these are metaphorical terms. For all intents and purposes, there is no punishment or judgment, but this is more a place that we would be connected to, where we are going through our own reform, where we are recognizing through our own review where are we wanting to correct ourselves. This is a massive Aries energy, because a lot of times Aries energy, we're constantly being tested. Am I impulsing my power and my force because it's something I want? Am I doing it because it's like I want to control others and I want this for my path? Or is the energy that is flowing through being in alignment to the divine will of the all, right? And so this is where it is referred to as the path back to redemption. So this is really, really amazing. When we look at a lot of the energy from Cetus, a lot of these beings, especially when we look at Tau Ceti. Tau Ceti doesn't come up on this particular thing, but it actually is around the 9-10 degrees. So it's kind of in between Al-Janeb and Erekis from Cepheus in here. So it basically be in here. And as we get to look at the energy of Tau Ceti is a star nation that, if you look at some of the different works and the different talks about it, is very connected to Venus, the Venusians, the higher octaves. Again, a vibrational race line that has taken a choice made path to make the decisions to be guardians and leaders and to begin to make divine choices and to inspire those divine choices in others. The Venusian energy really holds a lot of that for us. We can see that as we move through closer towards April, the beginning of April, we're going to start to connect to Andromedan energy. Now, Andromeda is also significantly connected to the aquatic family lines, the whales, the cetaceans, and the Syrian vibrational temples and energy. So Andromeda holds a blueprint within it that aligns to the Syrian temples, the blue ray temples in the Sirius, and the Christ mission temples within the councils of Christ within the Sirius star system, who are in service to the divine and hold the ultimate templates from the Andromedan mother galaxy and the Aurora sun templates. So when we think of Alpharaz, when we look at it from this perspective, they are a angelic cetacean or whale consciousness of family. When we look at it from this higher vibration and angelic perspective, that is really one of the messengers of divine beauty and love. They love to surround those. So if you have connections to this, the Andromedan energy itself is going to connect to the Andromedan race lines. And many of the Andromedan race lines are going to be the refugees and the descendants from Lyra after the Lyran Wars, entering into Andromeda, going through many of the cataclysms, their own challenges, their own wars, their own responsibilities for the ripple effects and karmas that they put into creation. So now at this time, the Andromedan councils really are some of the larger councils working with many, many other councils, other star nations, multidimensional, that is a floating council that moves throughout different systems in the universe that has a very diplomatic energy for guiding, assisting, and being really kind of a pillar and a way shower, kind of an authority for developing star nations and species who are wanting to step into more of Law of One and into galactic alignment. So this is amazing because there is an energy to the Alpharat's energy that it's not only a guardianship energy, but there's a lot of love surrounding it. There's a lot of support surrounding it. There's a lot of energy that says, hey, you have the right to be your own individualized self. But at the same time, how are you going to also bring that back as a gift, as a conduit, as a diplomat in service to others? Okay, so this is amazing. So much love. Just want to say hello, Angeline. So much love. Oh, Aries Sun. Oh, I love it. Such a passion and a fire. I love it. I love it. I love it. Sunny, I am so grateful that you are here. And Anna, thank you so much for being here. So much love to you. And got his moon and Uranus and wow, moon and Uranus in Aries. What a fire. I love it. What a powerful dynamic. So yes, please, you guys start to see where is Aries in your chart. What house is it in? I love this. You have it in the 8th house. That is an amazing dynamic, actually, because it's going to be that first house energy, but it's also going to be this beautiful energy of really taking it to a deeper depth. Very, very powerful healer, shamanic energy for sure. So as you look at this, because this is going to really be important as we start to look at where the planetary influences are coming. Now, as we look around the middle of April, around April 12th and then April 13th, we're going to have two different vibrations. We're going to have now Baton Katos, and this is in Cetus. This is really important because, again, this one's more the energy of the vibration of the celestial prison that we were talking about. So this vibrational energy within here is really powerful for us to start to harness it. And as we look at this, this is going to be after the solar eclipse happens. So after the solar eclipse, we're going to really get to see where are we going to be able to see the chains, the bindings. The other way I'm going to invite you to look at this is what karma or debt are you still hanging on to? First of all, that maybe doesn't even belong to you. Are you still punishing yourself for things? Are you still holding guilt over your head for things? Are you still holding yourself as either a victim or a martyr for different things? And this is where we want to start to recognize that in a lot of ways, fallen angelic, there is the extreme of the fallen angelic when we talk about race lines. But there's also the energy of understanding that we all have a bit of fallen angelic in us because here we are in a lost state of being, fallen from our full potential of our consciousness and our full remembrance of who we are, and still many times being our own jail keepers. I say this a lot in the soul coaching courses that truly we're our own jail keepers. We're the ones holding our own chains and bindings, the padlocks, but we also hold our own keys that many times we have to be the ones that stop punishing ourselves. And so the neat thing about it is right in this, almost to the same degree, holding a vibration in there is going to be the vibration of Akamar and Eridanus. And this is massive initiation energy. This is going to be massive initiation energy. We know from Eridanus, that Eridanus is connected to very advanced star races that are millennia ahead of us, that are very closely connected to Earth, sometimes referred to as the tall whites energy. And as we look at some of these, that we're looking at this as, again, a vibration of energy that is holding initiation potential for us. But remember, this is almost, when I think of the Akamar with Eridanus energy and this star nation and just the vibration it will influence us with, think about it as kind of like a guide or a teacher that's standing next to you. And it's their aura and their vibration that challenges you to be better, to step up, to really be mindful of your words, your actions. What are you doing? Right? It's almost kind of like their presence makes you start to like straighten up, act a little bit more mature, step into your spiritual maturity a little bit more. Again, there's this sense of not wanting to when we're with a guide or guardian like that we want to be at our best. And so this is an amazing energy for us to step into as we start to connect with this energy post the solar eclipse, because this is going to be pulsing us. What are you going to do with this massive energy, with all the change, with all the different shifts, changes, and potential chaos that is created on this planet in order for us to shake up things? Remember, when the sheep in the meadow are giving birth to the babies, or the birds are being born, from their eggs, what is happening? Things have to break, right? The eggshell has to crumble. It's chaos to the eggshell. It's all this neat little contained egg for how long? And all of a sudden, chaos happens and birth comes from it. The baby is born, and it's born in this messy procedure where it's just all of a sudden it has to break free from the sac, and it's all of this chaos as it spills all over. But it's almost like you don't notice the chaos because you are so in love with that beauty that is coming forward. That, my dears, is my invitation that I'm going to have for you, because it would be easy in this year and in 2025 to focus on the chaos. But I'm going to invite, as a challenge for all of us with this Aries energy, how can we be the ones that are so in love with the spirit birthing through new, through all of it, that all of the chaos we actually hold now in a new light of love? So this might be some energy that we can embrace as we look at even Eridanus and Andromeda holding a sacred space for us within here. So within this, let's go ahead and move on. So now what I want to show is the congested energy that we have. This is primarily April that we're seeing in here, but if I would have pulled up March, and you would, if you go back and you look at the Pisces star report, you'd see the March wheel. You're going to see that it's still within a lot of the Pisces energy. So it would still be within Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. This is huge. This is massive. As we get to look at this, there are certain planetary alignments that are happening right now that the last time that it happened would have been the time when the wall of Berlin came down. Right? So what are we looking at with this kind of energy? We were looking at also that the Pluto energy that we were having, and some of the Chiron energy in conjunction to the North Node, we were seeing that as a time of the summer of love, and then the Pluto energy was representing the time of great revolutions. Well, all of that definitely sounds like the bird egg is cracking, right? Like the birth is really happening. So as we get to look at the synergy, I wanted to show how much vibration is in the sign of Aries. So we're going to go back to the Pisces energies. And so nodes in Aries over here, but on the 5th, again, it was conjunct directly with Chiron, but you're going to see that it's still, the Chiron isn't actually on here, but it's still going to hold a vibration. Chiron is still within Aries and still holding conjunction type energy within here. We are also going to see that Chiron, again, in Aries, it's at 18 degrees within here. So you can see it's still close enough within a conjunction to Mercury and the North Node. But we also have Mercury entering Aries, and this is going to be the hugest player, and what I think is the biggest thing for us to focus on through this next few this next sign specifically, but through what we are going to know as the Mercury retrograde, which starts on April 1st, kind of like an April Fool's for us, right? So we're going to have Mercury entering the sign of Aries, and it's going to be one of the biggest major players because it's also going to be having it's pretty quick moving. It's going to be having massive conjunctions that are going to play out for us. And then we're going to see April 4th, Aries is also the sign that is going to be held in. So we're seeing this April 4th, Venus is going to enter Aries. What we're seeing here is Venus is going to go back into a retrograde energy in order to get back into there. And the last thing, I didn't have it on here because it happens April 30th, but we're also going to have Mars dipping into Aries. So it is going to be a huge vibrational energy. With that, I put a mala on here that I thought was a really neat description. It's a little bit covered up by things on here, but on there is skulls, but also a sun that is shining. It is slightly a representation to the Kali energy. And that energy, again, is about what is it that we are ready to allow to die? What is it that we are allowing the death process to be the ending of it so that we can shine our light? Aries, fire, the passion, the desire. What fire, what light, what sun shining? Remember the second octave, or not the second octave, but the second fire sign is going to be Leo, the sun. What are you choosing to emanate through that vibrational energy? So we're going to see that as we start to get to face this energy, Aries is going to continuously push us to be a better version of ourselves. And again, even if you don't have, I see Brindy over here is saying, I have no Aries in my astrology chart, but in human design, Mercury is in 17. That's going to be massive because we're saying Mercury is a massive player for this next sign. And design Venus in 21 and design Sun in 42. So yes, even though you don't have on the traditional astrology chart a lot of Aries, those particular alignments are massive. And so if I was looking at your chart, I would say you would still have significant Aries energy in your chart that is playing out at this time. So that is really, really, really special just to know that, again, we all have Aries in our chart, even if we don't have planets in it. So when the transiting planets are sitting in it, it is still influencing that house in your chart and bringing a lot of focus and energy into that house or energy or stage of your life. And so you want to again look at what house is Aries over. It might be one or two if it's on a cusp, but you want to look at what house or houses does Aries influence for you, because that's going to be the area of your life that's going to be going through the most rebirth and transformation and re-identification as to your development of who am I and who is my highest realized self that I can be. So as we move through, this is just going to be the dates for the full moon and the new moon and the gates that they are in. But just to preserve our time today, I'm going to move forward. But really, I brought the energy in here of the lunar and solar eclipses with the cetacean, with the new seeding, with the initiation energy. Again, the Cetus energy vibration in there, the Andromedan energy vibration in there. This is hugely connecting us to our aquatic and our cetacean angelic families. Okay, so this is going to be all the way moving from the Aquafarian races, a lot of the Andromedan mother galaxy system aquatic races. And I was having this really neat kind of contemplation meditation not long ago as we've been driving through a lot of Utah, that it really in a lot of ways, even though it's all high desert and these just incredibly breathtaking sceneries, it's still this imaginal landscape that makes you think of what it would be like to be underwater, realizing that all of that was once underwater. And kind of realizing too that if you look at any nature shows or things like that, and they all go back to like the beginning of the seedings of the earth, if we look at it from that perspective, that what is the first life forms? What are the most ancient life forms. And generally, they're the ones that start in the water. And we know that some of our most advanced races here on Earth exist within our waters, not upon the land, not within the air, but in the waters. And that our whales, our cetaceans, some of these are the angelic race lines that are holding the song, the sound. And that is a key within there. They are helping us remember what are the songs that our heart was intended to sing. And I didn't get all the way into it with the Cetus, but what some of that energy is about that within that time in the belly of the well, that it would be the time to begin to hear the songs of the cetaceans, hear the song of the whale again, to remember, reattune, re-come back into ourselves of who we have intended to be as remembering our song within, and then starting to say, hey, I want to align to that and to add to that heart song again. So within this, as we get to look at these eclipses, I'm going to invite us to kind of keep that at heart. We're going to know that within here, I add this so that you guys have it as a resource. We're going to know that the Aries energy is going to be a very cusp energy. And this is going to be a cusp for the solar eclipse. So in the this new moon energy solar eclipse, we're going to see that it says Aries, right? But it's Aries Libra. Right. Oh, sorry. No, so let me Aries Taurus. Let me get that right. It's Aries Taurus as we get to look at it, because it actually moves rather quickly as the energy moves within there. So we're seeing it again almost as another cusp energy. And the interesting thing is that this full moon energy over here on the 25th is also very, very similar to that. So when we get to look at this vibrational energy, you'll also know that your special meditation days are going to be on the days that are closest to when the moon is in your sign. So it's good for Aries, again, all those with Aries, Sun, Earth, or very significant Aries placements. This solar eclipse is even more powerful for you. So please go ahead and embrace that. I have this on here just as a quick resource so you can see it from a different perspective and visual. Again, you can go on withbecca.com, click on the events link. I do have a shared Google calendar on there that I have all of this, that you can download it for yourself so that you can have this potentially as a printout that you can work with. So it shows the gene keys, change date, full moons, lunar eclipses, and other significant things on there so that you have. We can see that this Aries sign starts in the 19th, but it's kind of late and early into the morning of the 20th, so I have it kind of here in the beginning. Mercury is going to be conjunct the North Node as this is happening tomorrow, and the moon will be in Leo, which is going to really influence again more of that fire energy and that passion for the heart. We're starting in the gate 25, so as we look at the energy of the gate 25, here it is, and as it begins to get ready to pass off the energy to the gate 17, which is where we're going to talk about. The gate 17 is going to click in as we start to move into the full moon. So the gate 17, I wanted to talk about it a little bit because this is going to be one of the more important times, whereas we work with this lunar eclipse within here, this is going to ask us on a deeper level, not so much like what do we want to plant short term, but I'm going to invite you to take this all the way out to a soul-based level. If you are at the level where you can have a communion with your spirit council, your spirit team, your higher self, that this is such a powerful time for you to begin to tune into what is the larger cycles of your soul's journey. Are you choosing to come back to Earth again after this lifetime? Are you on an arc or a path that this is more of a completion for you? Because when we really look at this energy, the vibration of the lunar eclipse at this full moon is going to happen in the gate 18. The gate 18 is in Libra. It is the opposition to the gate 17, and the gate 18 is the gate of correction. It has this kind of this fear within it. It is a resonant, just low vibrational fear that if anything is out of place, that one feels uneasy, that one wants to correct everything. It can create kind of a nitpicking energy to the world around, whether it's to others, whether it's to whether the house is in order well enough, to whether or not you feel someone did a job good enough or not, whether or not the earth is enacting itself in the best way. The gate 17 really is the anchor point for that, or the opposition point for that, which is the mental anxiety that your thoughts and your opinions are going to be challenged. It has this a desire to search for something to lock the mind onto in order to behold it as a truth, right? That our mind wants certainty, our mind wants something to anchor into. And then the gate 18, where the moon's going to be really playing out all of this energy, is going to be in this place that feels like nothing ever works. Nothing's all right. Everything's out of place. There's always something out of alignment. Like 99% of everything could be perfect. But unfortunately, the gate 18 will just focus on that 1% and won't let it go. And we want to start to recognize, where are we holding on to that and not seeing it for the energy that it is, as just part of the energy that when you observe it as the neutral, compassionate witness with love, you can let love do all the work. Let love be the energy that then begins to nudge it, urge it, move it into the direction that it can find its own path to correction. How do we see this in the physical world? We're just going to see this for a parent. There's so many parents that see their kids going through challenges that they're just like, oh, if they would just listen to me, they wouldn't go through that. Oh my gosh, I can just see they're on a path for disaster. I wish I could stop it. I wish I could keep them from going through that. Whereas our gift is to recognize that's part of their life path. And even though you might have the years of wisdom that says, yeah, I made that same boo-boo, I know how it's going to end. Guess what? You can hold the unconditional, non-judgmental point of view for them with love that allows them to begin to start to feel the freedom to be able to expand and explore without feeling as though they have to challenge, resist against something, be pressured against something, right? The gate 18 has the energy that actually, even though it wants to make things better, make things neat and tidy and organized, it has the energy of actually being so judgmental that it many times puts that pressure on other things and pushes it in the opposite direction than it would want to go. So, how do we spiritualize that? Right? How do we spiritualize this? It's about our third eye. It's about connecting to the eye of God. It's about that eye of really opening up our pineal gland. That what would happen? What would happen if we could fully and completely allow ourselves with so much love to begin to pull all of the pressure off of how something has to be, to start to trust into the flow of the universal divine plan? That we see things and we get a big old opinion about how we think it should happen, right? There's so many people out there that right now have such an opinion about how the new earth should be, how things should play out, about how, oh, all of the controllers and the rulers and the elite and all these terrible people on the planet, they need this done to them and they need that done to them. And oh my gosh, we need to do this. They're creating that. And this is so bad. Well, guess what we're doing? We're creating a focus on that which is out of alignment. Therefore, we're creating the pressure against it, which makes it rebel more. Damn it. Hate taking responsibility, right? So as we get to work with this energy, you guys, I'm going into this a little bit more in depth because this is huge. This is our full moon. We want to use this as our map out. This is more than just generally how we would take an energy of planting things for the next 6 months. I'm going to invite you to take it a little bit bigger than that. I'm going to invite you to take it to your council. Take it to your soul council. Take it bigger. Really get honest with yourself. In this Aries sign, this is for everyone. I don't care what your your sun sign is. I don't care. My invitation to each and every one of you is, let's all embrace the energy of Aries. And how can we step up? How can we all feel this as a new cycle? How can we all start to see, where have I been trying to push my viewpoint of what I think is awesome onto the world, and then call everybody else out if I don't think it fits with my vision? And where can we start to recognize that when we surrender to the innocence of love within the heart, that the universal creator within us is the power source of our spiritual warrior essence? And to be the spiritual warrior, there is no resistance. There is the massive energy of being the conduit of the flow of that love. And how can we all be more of that? And where are our opinions locking us into our own karmic cycles? And remember, you're the one that holds your own keys to the freedom to unlock yourself from the prison that you feel yourself in. So this is massive as we work in it. With 17, we're going to see that's going to take us through. There's not really much else that's changing within this energy. So we have an entire week to really work with that energy until we move into Saturday on the 30th. We're going to move into the gate 21. Now we're moving into the heart center. We're moving into now materializing, actualizing, working with this physical reality. The gift that Aries really gives us is it teaches us how to be the vibration of spirit, but how do we still play in the physical reality? How do we not make physical reality wrong? That would be perfect. It says in here, Brindy, my daughter will have her first return in 1718 this summer. Oh, this is going to be a time of absolute release for me. Wow. And I love that you know that for her so that you can hold the sacred faith for that for sure. So now as we've moved past that, we have basically the week that we held the energy within the gate 17 with the polarity 18. Now we're moving into the following week of the gate 21. This is going to be the final gate that then is going to lead us into the gate 51 of the solar eclipse. Okay, so what is this energy? This is Andromeda. What was Andromeda again? The challenge for us to step up as diplomats. At this particular time, Sun is going to be conjunct the North Node and Chiron. So let's just kind of look at 21 over here. We're going to see, actually, I don't have it marked on here, so we're not going to see it. So let's go ahead and just move forward. We're going to see over here, the gate 21 is the gate of control, but we're also going to see it's March 29th. So what's coming up in a few days, April 1st, is going to happen in the gate 21. We're going to start to move into the Mercury retrograde. Okay, so this is really kind of intense for us. And I love this image because it's the passion of really being that spiritual warrior. The gate 21 is about the hunter, the huntress. It's the one that goes out, that has that energy, that power to actually provide for others. It's the ability to make decisions for others and for yourself. It's the basic energy that wants to fight for basic human rights. Now, I am talking to a very spiritualized community here as you're listening to this, but I want you to remember there's like, you know, 8 billion people on the planet. Not everybody's choosing a spiritualized path. I want you to recognize we're going into Mercury retrograde. We got Sun, North Node, Chiron energy all in conjunction. We have an energy of people wanting to fight for basic human rights. Escalating energies. This is where we get to recognize again that as potential chaos may ensue, I'm going to keep, it's the oddest picture ever, but it's the metaphor the Guardian shared with us. I'm going to invite us all to keep remembering a bird's nest with the little eggs in there, that as the things crumble, as we may see chaos around, we want to recognize our job is to focus on the beauty that is being birthed at this time. So this, again, many times has an energy of wanting to control. I could give a few examples of how we sometimes over-actualize control because we are very afraid. It's like many times we need to know what's going to happen. We need to learn something so that we know it, so that we don't feel caught off guard. One of my favorite ones that is kind of a giggle for so many, I will tell you, this is This is a huge one for a lot of individuals. There's a lot of individuals that do not like to let other people drive. They have to be in the driver's seat. And I'm getting looked at right now. But I'm saying I am talking about so many people I've done chart readings for, so many people that have significant energy around the gate 21 or the gate 48. I will say I'm a Pluto gate 48, so there I can resonate that there have been times where it's like, in shadow times you want to know what's coming because there's this part that has that fear, right? So these are things that we can get to learn through time how to shift and change. But I think it's so funny that how it plays out sometimes is just the need that, well, if I'm the one that's driving, then I feel safe because I feel in control. But you guys, right? It's like, it doesn't really make any sense, even when we think about it, because, you know, there's still just all of these other energies at play. And at truth, it comes to this larger connection to the divine and to allowing really a surrender to our higher selves being really part of our life and allowing them to be the guardians of how we move through life. So as we get to look at this energy, we want to really look at it because the gift of this energy is to be a benevolent authority. Again, this is a really triggering word for a lot of individuals because Andromeda, remember, diplomat. Well, what does a diplomat do? A diplomat has to hold a sense of integrity and authority. But there are so many individuals out there that are like, well, they have an opinion about how they want things to be, but then it's like you want to ask them, well, do you want to be in charge of that? No, 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 I don't want to get involved. I don't want to. Yeah, no, I just stay out of it. I don't want to get involved with anything. And there's such a resistance to being put on the limelight, to being made into a position of authority, or to be the one responsible for making the decisions. And how are we supposed to enact our Christ light if we aren't willing to stand behind what we think and what we believe? So here is a challenge for us as we are really getting into that solar eclipse energy coming up with the next sign. Just a thought, and I say this is for all of us, to go like some might be like, man, no, I that has been something I've cleared, I've challenged that, and I get it, I'm in alignment with it. There are others that might be like, oh, I haven't been there, haven't thought about that yet, and it might be something that hopefully this will be an invitation for you to look at that energy. Hi, Becky, I love you. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, my love. So let's move into now. Here we go. From the gate 21 of control, boom, moving in to the 5th of April. We're sliding into the gate 51. I love this gate, and it has also been the most challenging gate in my life in this lifetime. So any of you that has a gate 51, you'll know this. We're going to see this as it starts. It's smack, like fully in Mercury retrograde. Woo, full force, not letting up. It's just building momentum at this time. And as we see it move through, we're going to see it's going to move through right into the solar eclipse here of Aries. And as we get to embrace this vibrational energy, let's go ahead and see what is the gate 51. And I wanted to again touch on this retrograde energy. So I did put a screen on here. The idea, again, essentially of us moving forward while looking back. Retrograde really gives us that opportunity in a massive way for us to have an opportunity to review, to rewind, to look back, to reassess, to take responsibility for, to go through things. And I'm going to say, here in the United States, it's going to be the time for taxes. So honestly, I think retrograde, what a perfect time to actually be able to go back and review, reassess, and take note on where did you let your energy out? Where did you expend your energy in the last year? How did you allow your vital life force to move through you? Remember, abundance is one of our expressions of our vital life force and our energy, right? It's the currency, it's the vibration, it's the money. are you allowing it to leak out into things that you are wanting as quick little bursts of satisfaction and desire, hitting onto things? Or have you been really focusing on the larger picture and allowing yourself to not be impulsed by lower chakra desires? And are you allowing yourselves to accumulate this currency for the larger picture of how source is inspiring you to move this energy? Just a little bit of a thought within there. Because here's the interesting thing as we look at this again, April 4th, April 8th, we're seeing these are in the gate 51. We got Sun conjunct the North Node and now Chiron. So Sun is right in alignment to this North Node Chiron conjunction that's been happening that wants us to really vibrate love. And now the Sun is going to be amplifying, building up on this energy. Now, as we move into the 11th, which is right after, the Sun is going to move and amplify that vibration of Mercury. But Mercury is already in retrograde during this, and it's in a close enough conjunction or orb for it to be of influence. So when I see this Trinity within here, I'm seeing North Node. We're getting pushed into our direction that our soul's asking us to go. But remember, North Node is uncomfortable. It's challenging. It's not the safe place. It's going outside of our comfort zone and expressing ourselves into something that might not be right for us. But that's what our shadow thinks. It's like, no, that's not safe. That's not what I'm familiar with. But your soul and your spirit is saying, you can do it. You got this. Free fall into trust. This is the space that even though you don't know it, it is the place where you will grow. It's conjunct your Chiron, which means it's probably going to be even more challenging because it's got some deep wound to it. A limiting belief, a sadness of not good enough, or feeling unloved, unheard, unrecognized, past wounds and traumas and karmas within there, right? So now we're recognizing, oh my gosh, my soul's trying to push me into my North Node, but it's the place that my heart hurts the most. And then Mercury retrograde's going to come in there, where it's going to feel as though our thoughts of how to deal with it are not going to want to move forward. But the trick is now you know the guardians are saying, allow yourself to go forward while looking back. And this is actually a really neat phrase, and I'm probably not going to get this entirely right. But if any of you have ever seen the musician Brother Is, he has since quite a while ago left this plane in physical form, but he's a beautiful Hawaiian soul who sung the song Over the Rainbow. Pretty much I cry every time I hear it. I love it. But if you were ever to look at his album cover, it's a picture of him where he's standing facing backwards. So his back is to the front. And from the Hawaiian perspective, they always said that the only place to look forward is through looking backwards, that is how you see clearly to the future. And I might be saying that a little bit off, but the concept is quite right there. And that truly, this is a time for us to review where are we being able to see things, our patterns, our habits, our belief systems that are leading us into this solar eclipse. Because remember, the lunar eclipse is where we want to start to embrace, where we soften the soil to what we want to plant the seeds. And the minute the solar eclipse hits, the moment the sun hits it, it's kind of like abracadabra, boom, you put everything into the cauldron of your magic that you want to create. And then the solar eclipse is the boom, it's the magic that then births it into creation. And you want to make sure that as you get it to this time, you've already been able to look back to see forward to the gift of all that you have gone through and how you can be that gift in the future. The gate 51 is going to ask you to look at all the places that the rug has been pulled out from under your feet, that it's felt like your life has turned upside down, that it's felt like you've lost so much, that it hurts so much that you feel like you can't keep going. It's going to be that place in your life where you have felt so many tragedies that have happened in your life that you wondered if you could ever get back up again. But every time you get back up, there's a part of you that gets back up closer connected to what the truth of your soul and your truth of knowing your connection to source. what's really important, what's really valuable in this life. So this is going to be for a lot of us. There is so much pain, suffering, trauma, sadness, victimhood held within the morphogenetic fields, the aura, the mental planes, the energetic layers and templates of the earth, our collective consciousness of earth. So all 8 billion humans on the planet are feeding a collective consciousness as a field of consciousness around the earth. And how much of that field do you think is holding bliss and joy? Interesting thought, isn't it? When we think of how much of that field is holding judgment, sadness, fear, hatred, anger, trauma, all of these heavy, heavy, heavy feelings. Where can we start to now use the initiation of the gate 51 that shocks us into rebirth within this life, that says, let us let go of anything that we have held to for security or control that is an illusion in our life, so that we can now start to see the light of God's source and to know our true path and not be swayed by the illusion of this Maya that we have been in. And then when the sun goes conjunct Mercury in the gate 42, this is massive because it's going to be the energy of beginnings. So just really quick, touching into 51, because I didn't change the screen here. But again, the shadow of agitation, the shock, let me just read this on the deepest level. The shadow of this gate has a deep distrust in life itself. This gate pulses one to awaken through shocks of initiation in order to step fully into one's creative independence. This awakening can't be planned. It's fully orchestrated by the direction of your soul. So that is amazing. This is going to be our own. And remember, first slide, our second slide, all initiation is self-initiation. So now as we move into this, the gate 42, we're going to be seeing this energy is still going to be holding quite strong for the rest of Aries with the Mercury retrograde. And now as we look at this, we're moving in with this energy of Cetus again. And this again is the place where we're going to be challenged. Are we still holding on to anything holding us in a prison? Are we still locking ourselves away? Are we still judging ourselves, punishing ourselves? And now is the time to start to remember that we are the ones that create the pulses for the growth and the ending cycles. So what this is I love the Gene Keys perspective of it, saying the letting go of living and dying. That a lot of times, again, there's this sense of excitement when we start something, but we already start to feel sad about things when we think it's going to be over, when we think it's going to end, or when a loved one transitions or leaves the physical plane. We can get so distraught by it that we forget. We mourn who that identity was as the body and the person, and we forget they are the eternal spirit and soul, and that we've probably interacted with them in many lifetimes with other bodies, other names, other incarnations. And so again, this is about the repressive nature of grasping at things, or even being flaky of not wanting to commit because of the fear of loss or losing something. So we want to recognize that we want to know how to bring cycles to an end. That's what the gate 42 is really about. How to complete something, how to, with grace, allow something to go through the process of completion, because it is only then will something be able to come back into life again. And we want to recognize that we want to give celebration and joy for every part of it. And the Mercury in retrograde energy with the sun in here is going to give us an opportunity to see where we've been clinging on to things, where we been not seeing it for the gift or the enlightened state of the celebration for whatever experience that was that we got to have. This is kind of a big deal right now because there's a lot of individuals right now that are really being affected physically by a lot of these vibrations that are amplified. These increased photonic energies are accelerating things. Timelines are accelerating, so it's also accelerating things in the physical body. And some of these physical accelerations are creating pain, illness, and some of it even transition of life, the spirit choosing to actually leave the body. So we want to make sure we're not having a sense of seeing it as wrong. at this time. We want to honor every soul for how they're choosing to use this particular vibrational cycle at this time. So now we're going to move into the gate 3 as we come into this will be the final vibration. I love this energy because this is about us starting to bring cosmic order out of chaos. It's about us bringing from chaos to cosmos. It's really amazing because we want to recognize again that the birth process of anything, the birth process of a galaxy, the birth process of a plant or a tree or a baby animal or a human is actually quite a chaotic experience. Like even in the embryonic state of the development of an embryo, it's constantly going through all this metamorphosis and chaos and growth and expansion. And, you know, even in the homeostasis of our body, for our body to stay healthy, balanced, and alive, there is massive chaos that is happening within us in order to continue that balance within our body, our inner cosmos. And so as we get to recognize this vibrational energy, it is us starting to have innocence and to see through the eyes of the child, to not have to logically try to figure out how is something going to work, but to recognize that we want to kind of have the expectation of a child. Think of a child who has a broken toy and they take it to their parent and they just hold their hands up and they say, here. And in their head, they have no idea how it's going to get fixed, but they have 100% innocence through their eyes that their parent can do it. This is the same innocence that the Creator God Source asks us to have, the infinite intelligence of creation, to us tapping in and attuning to our guardian team, our higher spirit councils, our higher selves, to have that innocence as a child that we might see so much chaos around us, but it's not always ours to know exactly all the intricacies and details of how it's going to come into a cosmic order, but for us to kind of come to it and just say here, and with so much love, this is the key to manifestation, to manifesting from your intentions, your imagination, and to creating that into physical reality, is to have no doubt within your mind that it will happen. That's it. That's the innocence of a child. A child hands the toy and they have 100% absolute within their mind that their parent or whomever is just going to hand that toy back and it's going to be perfectly workable again. They whether or not it's a challenge, they don't care. They don't know. And that's what we forget to embrace and hold and trust within our divinity within ourselves. So this is the massive magic energy that we get to hold, because it's really about starting to recognize everything that we feel powerless around and that is out of our control. And where does it impulse our desire to want to control things even more? And where are we learning to surrender to divine laws and natural laws? And this, my dears, is, I think, a key thing when I see this and hear this, because a massive thing as we've been on the land traveling and I've been tuning into Earth Mother, she says, my body needs to move even more. And that there is going to be movement. There is going to be a need for us to trust natural laws and what natural law needs to do in order to accommodate this massive rebirth cycle that has taken us in to 2027, 2028, as we really start to move into new eras of time. So we are in a window that for us, we're always like, oh, well, I just want things to be better by next Friday. Well, we're in a window of time that I feel like right now, that as it started around the early 20s, but now moved into 2021, 2022, as a massive influx happened through 2023. We know 2024 was going to be a massive rattling of shifts and change. 25 is going to start to shifts and an organization into place. 27, I really feel we're going to start to see a lot of the magic start to actualize upon the planet. So as we get to look at this, you guys, I want to just say thank you guys so much for letting me share these energy reports with you. It's just a little bit of a different perspective for us to look at as you listen to other astrological reports, as you listen and and meditate, contemplate on your own chart, look at your houses, look at your design, see how it's going to be playing out for you. What energy centers is it in? Really activating for you? Is it completing channels for you? Is it giving you the energy to really embrace more of who you are? The theme for Aries, self-initiation. And are we willing to do what it takes to quiet the lower desires so that the higher desires of our spirit can be the energies to help us realize our highest realized potential? So, with so much love, you guys, thank you guys so much. I just want to say, I love this. Thank you guys for all of these comments in the chat. Um, again, so much love to Nikema, to Darlene, to Melissa, to Amanda, Travis, Laura, Elizabeth, Angeline, Sunny, Anna, Laura, Brandy. Oh, so much love, Becky. I love you guys so very much. With so much love, I invite you to please reach out if you have questions about anything, any of the energy specifically for you. Um, Otherwise, let's just keep holding this pillar of light as we all step in to really being these spiritual warriors through this Aries energy. I love you guys. Thank you. Bye bye.